welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Ness. I am delighted because we have the very beautiful Becca Francis joining us again, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me to come back and speak to your lovely listeners and viewers. And yeah, I'm excited.
I'm really excited actually for today's topic because I think it's a hot one. We're going to link below. So if you want to learn, so Becca's going to introduce herself in a moment, but it was all about human design. If you want to go back and watch the first episode that we've done together, we're going to link it below so you can hear all about her and really how human design can help you. But we're going to take this to a next level. But as you know, I get so carried away. So I'm just going to stop for a moment, pause, so you can have the limelight and just introduce yourself to everyone. Beautiful.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you for inviting me back. So I am Becca Francis. I'm a human design business coach, and I help generators and manifesting generators specifically scale their businesses to 6 figures and beyond while staying in their joy, staying in their satisfaction, and staying out of frustration, because those things can kind of creep in. The more up levels we go through, that frustration can start to creep in, and exhaustion. So I coach gens and manage gens through that.
Yeah. And I'm a generator. And so I love the work that you're doing and how you're really sort of like nourishing these particular types. Because one of the things that I, with myself, is I have so many things on the go. I'm multi-passionate about it. But there's one thing that has stopped along the way. And I know that there's a lot of stories that we all hold on to, and that is about money. And a lot of us in these particular realms, especially when we tap into like that spiritual sort of side of us, we think that, yes, it's just energy, but we forget about the money side, that money is an energy and we're actually able to receive that money.
Yeah, absolutely. And ironically, for generators, we're not, and managers, we're not actually interested in money. We're not interested in money, and we're not interested in power. But because we've been conditioned, everybody in the collective has been conditioned to focus and concentrate on how to acquire more money and how to acquire more power. Generators have been pulled into that. And because generators are 70% of the collective, when generators are focusing and concentrating on something, we pull the rest of the collective in with us. So it's really important as generators, we stay in our satisfaction, and our satisfaction is the work. It's the work that we love to do. And then the money comes as a byproduct of that. So it's really interesting that we're told as generators, we're very powerful. We can generate a lot of income, but that's not our sole focus. And when it becomes our sole focus, that's when we can get pulled into that frustration. Yeah, really interesting.
And frustration is one of the key things. Like I get frustrated so quickly. And I realize that it's just one of the things with me. But also being a recovering people pleaser as well. That's just, another element to it. But when we talk about money, and I know that like obviously it's such a hot topic because look, we all have stories around money. Like we've all grown up with our parents telling us certain things. Then we listen to society, or we think that we've got to, climb that corporate ladder to really earn a certain figure. We've got to be secure with money. There's so many different elements that we need to unpack for somebody to really start to, I guess, be open to receiving like their worth.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll go on to talk about it a bit more, but there's a specific part of human design that is called gene keys. So we have human design, which is, I think of as kind of the masculine structure. And then gene keys is a way of looking at each of the gates in a more nuanced way. And in gene keys, we talk about the spiritual mistake around money. And the spiritual mistake is thinking because you have a spiritual business, or because you have a spiritual element to your business, that you shouldn't receive an equal energetic exchange in return, because we've been told we shouldn't do that. But gene keys, particularly one aspect of gene keys, is very much about if we are in service, then we receive. It's like that reciprocity, that law of compensation, if you like. But particularly in spiritual business, we tend to kind of shy away from the money aspect of it, because we're told that, it's a bit kind of, it's a bit icky to charge for spiritual things, so we probably shouldn't do it. And we end up in this energy of service without the reciprocation, without that equal energetic exchange. And we all need that equal energetic exchange because, well, first of all, we need to pay our bills. But secondly, whatever business you're in, if you're successful, you've likely spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of energy acquiring your skills. So, of course, you should be compensated for people to get access to those skills because you're providing a shortcut for them. You've done the legwork. So yeah, that's the part of human design and Gene Keys which really fascinates me, that kind of the spiritual mistake, quote unquote, aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating. Like, I obviously work with so many people in the spiritual side, and you can take that word like into so many different directions. But when you're providing a service, I mean, if we go to, the shop, we buy something, we have to pay with money. There's no bartering or, all that sort of stuff. But so many people in that sort of realm, like, people, I guess, like, they've got such a soft heart, like they're just such servers. So it is easier for them to sort of go, oh, of course I will do that for you. Or they might even offer it as a reduced rate because that belief within themselves still that what they're offering doesn't hold the higher value. Whether or not that's a disbelief within themselves or whether or not it's a belief that is being passed through sometimes generations, I believe, too.
Absolutely. You need to have really firm boundaries, particularly when you have a spiritual business or a spiritual aspect to your business, because the firmer your boundaries and the more you reinforce those, the more the clients will respond to those. The clients that don't respond aren't the clients you want anyway. But having firm boundaries around when you serve, how much you charge, not continually discounting, means that you model that for your clients as well, and that's where the ripple effect happens. But yeah, it's challenging because as soon as we start talking about sharing a reading or a healing, it's immediately, oh, okay, well, how much can we discount it by? Or you shouldn't be charging for that because it's healing work. But it's really, really important that we do charge. We do get that equal energetic exchange because we can't continue to do it if we don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a good coach of mine a while ago said that, when you're not charging, it's still a hobby. But if you want it as a business, you need to charge. Because like you're saying, like, it is the years that you've taken to learn your craft, but also to a lot of people go into that field because they've had lessons or these moments that are so heavy in life that, like you said, they've faced it head on and gotten to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny you should say that because there is a particular, if we think about Gene Keys as a whole, and I'll keep it very simple, part of my energetic makeup, my chart is to keep things simple. There is a part of the chart which is our unconscious Mars gate, which is about 8 gates down on the left-hand side of the chart. So our unconscious Mars is, so first of all, it's an unconscious energy. Unless you're aware of it, you don't know what's happening under the surface. And when it comes to prosperity, the shadow of this gate is your greatest challenge. The shadow of that gate can have us believe that we can't prosper from what we love to do. It's like, if I love to talk about human design, well, that's not a proper job, is it? It has us stuck there believing that, okay, well, I need to go and get a corporate job, or I need to, get a professional job rather than what I love to do. But ironically, that wound, that shadow, is where we have our greatest capacity to prosper when we move into the higher level of that frequency. So it's really, really interesting. That part of the chart specifically, which is the start of the prosperity sequence, is where with a client we can really hone in, like, what is happening in that shadow? Why do you believe that you can't really prosper from doing what you love? Really, really interesting.
I think the more, like, I've gone through the journey, it's also the self-belief within oneself is so important, but it's also who you are surrounding yourself with as well, because I think, you know, we're all that energetic beings. And if you're surrounding yourself with people who are the naysayers, or, you know, who are still going to pull you back down, or if you've gone through that challenge and you've come out the other side and you've, you know, grown into this new version of yourself, they
Yeah.
don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Is it, do
Absolutely.
you believe that it's really essential to really find that right tribe for these types of people as well?
Completely. I mean, at every stage of my business journey, I've put myself in situations with people that are earning much more than me, that have much bigger businesses than me.
Yes.
Really important. It's so uncomfortable, because it's so uncomfortable being in a coaching container where the majority of people are earning much more than you is very intimidating. And it can take your self-esteem can take a real hit.
Yeah.
But those are the people that you need to learn from, just to be around them. How are they saying things? How are they approaching things? How are they setting up their businesses? What's their mindset? So yeah, putting yourself in situations that are so uncomfortable, watching other people have wins that you're not having right then, very painful. But that's how we move. That's how we start to understand, well, that's where I want to be. How do I get there? So at each level of my business, I've found a tribe that, you know, that next level that will really pull me out of my, pull me out of my comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely.
Works
I
for me.
I totally agree. I was part of a mastermind. I'm sitting at tables where these businesses are earning like $10 million, and I'm like, oh, here's me, like, you know, and you just sit there and you're like, it is intimidating, and you do judge yourself by not, I guess, you know, pushing yourself harder. Whereas a lot of the times these types of people, you know, they're actually doing the inner work. It's not necessarily what they think is the business work. They're doing the inner work for them to be able to really fully receive and fully embody that ability to not only make a change, but also then to receive properly.
Absolutely, I agree. And particularly, I see it with generators and managens, because we have the ability to push and push and push. We shouldn't be pushing at all, but we have the ability to do that to a certain extent. We can push ourselves to six figures and beyond. But once we get there, if we've disconnected from our energy and we're detached and we're on the verge of burnout and we're continually in scarcity, then that has a real effect on the next stage that your business can go to. So we do a lot of work around that. Okay, well, you're a generator, you're at six figures. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Or are you frustrated? Because those are the big kind of the green flags and the red flags. So yeah, we can push ourselves to get to a certain level, but then understanding, okay, well, I need something different now. I need to understand, am I in scarcity? Am I freaking out because now I've got payroll for a bigger team? Am I not sleeping at night because all I'm thinking about is the business? So, and generator power is so powerful that if we channel it in the wrong place and we push and push and push, burnout is normally the inevitable result of that. So
Yeah, because we take on so much. We can, I mean, for myself, I have multiple businesses. So, you know, how much it, like you're talking about the energy of it, but so many of us also don't understand. Like, can human design also help you tap into what is the right energy for you? Like, where's the point that you need to prioritize self-care, or to have a look at, you know, how much time you're spending in the business or on the business?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, for the one of the best places to look is the root center in the chart. So that's the bottom, the center right at the bottom. And that's the center of deadlines, pressure, adrenaline, stress. And if it's defined, so if you have consistent access to how you process stress, then you can work to a certain point, but you know you don't need to push yourself any further. Okay. If it's open, so if it's open or undefined, and you're taking in all of this pressure externally to try and keep up with everybody else, that's when you can tip out into burnout. So there's a lot of work to be done around the root center. What stress is internal that you can process and deal with and that's healthy, and what pressure, because it's a pressure center, is coming externally. And are you running yourself into the ground because all of a sudden you're at six figures plus and you're trying to keep yourself there? So there's a lot of work to be done, particularly around that root center. And it's because it's not a sexy center, it's not the sacral, or it's, it's not the head center or the ego. It kind of gets neglected. But the more you level up in business, the more it's important to look at that root center and how much. If you have an open root center, you can do things like just adding to your to-do list to appear busy, because it's hard to understand that, okay, well, I've got to this level, I have a team that I can pass things on to, but I still need to be busy. I still need to be doing, because doing equals income. Doing doesn't equal income. It doesn't. But what the type of business owner that got you to 5 figures and 6 figures doesn't get you beyond that. So yeah, that root center is a really important place to look. Are you doing things because you think you should be? Are you doing work to seem busy?
Yeah, because there is a lot, like, the word hustle, which, look, I do agree that, with having a business, when you're first starting out, you do need to hustle. Like, there is a lot to do. It is not easy starting a business. And I always say to anybody, if you've started a business, you need to congratulate yourself, because it is the hardest thing, the most courageous thing you'll ever do. But when you grow and you, like you're saying, have that team, like even now, like I've got a VA, like how much do I delegate to them? Because, oh, maybe I should still be responsible for it. There's a lot of, reasoning behind it. But the key reason most of us start a business is for freedom. But when you get there, it's hard to let go of that, to actually give that to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I so agree. And really, all you should be doing, or once you've set up your business and it's started to grow, all you should be doing is marketing or client work. That's it. Marketing, 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 marketing. And everything else should be outsourced, because everything else is not moving the needle in your business. And so many business owners I see are really in the weeds with their hands still on everything. And it can't grow. It needs you, especially at the moment in this economy, to be out there marketing every day. I pass everything to my VA that isn't either a sales call, marketing, or client work. And I've trained her to do everything else. And I market 3 or 4 hours a day at the moment. But I have a defined root center. So that's a line for me. I can do that. But anything that doesn't immediately help you move the needle. So in the morning, the first thing you should be doing in the morning is saying, how can I get more clients today? Am I doing things that will help me get more clients today? How am I servicing my clients? Anything outside of that goes to someone else. But then it's important to look at, well, who is it going to? What is the human design of my team? How is my VA designed? How should I be giving her work? How is she receiving work from me? So my VA is a projector, and projectors respond really well to invitations. So I will invite her to look for efficiencies in my business. So I won't say, okay, task number 1 today, you need to do, or can you do? I say, okay, you know a lot about the business now. I really invite you to see where we can be more efficient, or to see where we can serve our clients better, and extend that invitation. So it's really important to know what the makeup of your team is as well.
I think it's really important that, when we obviously start, growing a team, to have either like a human design, so you understand who you're employing, but also to, I learned from a mentor that we don't call them, staff or anything, like they're talent. You're hiring a talent to come into your team to help it grow. And a lot of us think, oh, I'm just delegating tasks, but these are the people that are helping enhance you and your business. And I think there's not a lot of conversation sometimes around that as well. So understanding the people that you bring on and their human design, like you're saying, it's going to open up to better conversations. It's going to open up to making sure you've got the right hire. It's going to open up to, I don't know, there's so many, possibilities that's running through my head to be able to help you then make more money.
Yeah, absolutely. And always hire people that are better than you at that particular thing. So my VA is incredible at admin. I am not. I am interested. I did it for years in corporate. I do not want to do it anymore. She's way better than me. She has better skills than me. Her text better than me. So
Yeah.
always investing in somebody that is much better than you.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I do is I say to her, okay, anything we do more than once, can you make a Loom video and we'll create a standard operating procedures. So she has that kind of twofold. But
Yeah.
yeah, understanding the human design of your team is so
Mm,
important. So
yeah.
important.
Yeah. And does your human design change? I know like it's based on your date of birth and the time and that, but is there any element that can actually change as you up level as a person as well?
No, your chart stays the same. So your chart is it's anchored in 2 points, actually. It's anchored at
Yeah.
your time of birth, but it's
Yeah.
also anchored 88 days for lots of reasons that are too long to go into,
Yeah.
88 days before your birth as well. So your actual design doesn't change. You will see people shift and change once they become aware of the conditioning influences that they've been
Mhm.
subject to, and they start to move through those. That's what changes. That's what
Yeah.
changes. And conditioning isn't always bad. Sometimes we need conditioning to function as a society,
Yeah.
but particularly understanding, well, what have I thought that isn't actually true about myself? And how can I
Mm,
shift that to what I see in my chart? So those are the kind of changes that you'll see in people. That's due to their conditioning and being able to shift it and move through it.
yeah. And this is all something that you work with your clients with to take them on that journey to sort of, I guess, self question, what they sort of like feel is inherent in the stories, or, just sort of the conditions that they're being part of, to actually
Yeah.
see the possibilities within themselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we work a lot in that realm with the ego center. So if
Mm,
you're looking at the chart on the right hand side, there's a red triangle. That's your ego, will, heart center. It's very highly conditioned. The majority of people have it open or undefined, as I do. And it's very connected to self-worth and self-value and competition and willpower. And there's a lot of work to be done. So, not always, so I'm not going to generalize, but a lot of clients that I work with have work to be done around that ego center, trying to prove their worth, trying to prove their value by continually offering discounts, by
yeah.
continually offering free work in exchange for testimonials. Not always a bad thing, but there are ways to manage that to make sure that you get a really good result from it. So yeah, it's that the root center and the ego center are two of those centers that we really focus on to understand what's really going on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. And as you know, I love what you're doing. I love this way of looking at ourselves for us to actually improve, but also to let go of things that are no longer serving us for our best and highest good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot. Like once you start sorting through the chart, there can be all sorts of things at deeper levels
Yeah.
that you don't know you weren't aware that's going on. We can even run a chart, which is called a career chart, which will show you in different types, so different sizes of organizations. So we can go solopreneur, small group, large group, corporate, and it can show you what you're best suited to, which is really interesting. And human design is never meant to put you in a box. It's never meant to say, well, you can only do this, you can't do
Yeah.
that. It's designed to be a tool to kind of be a no-brainer. Like if you want to if you want to be in alignment, if you want to really operate in the optimum way for you, this is how, look at a map of your energy basically. So, but it's
Yeah.
not designed to say you must do this and you can't do that. It's not that.
Yeah. Yeah. So for like anybody who's sitting out there, who already has their human design and they're a generator or a manifesting generator, and they're struggling with money, obviously I'm going to say you need to speak to yourself. But what are the benefits for them working with you to really help have that healthy, beautiful relationship with money?
Mm. So what we really take time to look at is the prosperity sequence in Gene Keys. So those deeper layers of the chart, because like I said, it shows us what your greatest challenge is. It shows us what
Mm,
your zone of genius is, like where you really help people at a deep level. It
yeah.
shows us what your greatest money block is, your direct money block. So for me, for instance, my direct money block is purposelessness. If I don't have a purpose, then I really have no way of bringing money in. I need a purpose. Then we look at your branding. So you're not your actual colors and fonts and things like that, but what brand are you putting out into the world? How are people receiving you? And then we look at, why do you want money? That's the end of the pearl sequence. Why do you desire money? Because people desire money for different reasons. We assume we all want it for the same reason. For some people, it's freedom and simplicity. Some people, it's celebration, to be able to celebrate their successes and spoil people around them. For some people, it's charity. For me, I'm a line 5 in my pearl, so it's about power, but not about power for power's sake. It's about the big vision, about being able to change systems and structures so that we can really change the way that the money is viewed and that power is viewed. Because as I said at the beginning, generators, money and power is like, and I was thinking about it earlier today, like conceptualizing it. If somebody said to me, okay, Becky, we'll give you $500,000 a year to work in accounting. Now, I've worked in accounting, and accountants, great, love them, but it's not for me. I would say, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. So it's not about the money. It's about, I do human design and I freaking love it. Like that is my kind of vocation and my life's calling. So all of that to say, we look at the deeper layers of the chart, what's going on unconsciously, and how can we make you or have you live more in those gift energies rather than in those shadows. Really powerful.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think it's just a true gift of what you're offering people, and a lot of these people are here to serve at like such really amazing gifts, and they really do deserve to be paid in accordance for that as well, because they've either learnt lessons through life. I always say it's your hardest MBA you'll ever get is going through the school of life, or they've invested heavily in themselves to be able to learn their crafts as well.
Absolutely. The time and money and blood and sweat and tears. People have to be compensated for it.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, I adore you. I love what you are doing. We're going to link the 2 videos together so people can go back and listen to, if you don't know much about human design. Our first interview was absolutely amazing to give you the understanding of it and really how it can help transform your life. But also this, if you're sitting there and you're in a business and you've discovered what your human design is, and you are one of these 2 key areas, reach out to Becca to work with her. And I know it will be completely life-changing for you.
Thank you. Yes, generators and manifesting generators are my thing.
Absolutely.
Understand that energy. So
I love it. Like, thank you again so much for being here today and sharing your gifts. Like I said, I just truly do adore what you're doing. I think it's so needed in this world.
Thank you for having me. I've loved coming back. I really have. It's great.
My pleasure. Now, I am going to just quickly do 5 random things. I didn't have even written these down because I've already asked you the 5 random questions, but I'm going to ask you 5 different ones today for it. So I would love to know, what is your favorite color?
Oh, yellow. Yellow.
Love that. Rose sunshine. Love it. I love it. Do you have a favorite quote that you use all the time?
I do. And it's probably one that everyone will probably roll their eyes. Oh, I've heard that 1,000 times, but it's "this too shall pass." I use that in corporate. I use it in business. It has helped me out of a hole so many times, just reminding me like it will pass. This will pass, but also remembering that that's for the good times as well. So savor them, celebrate them, because the more we celebrate those, the more that we tend to attract. So that would be my most used one, I think.
Oh, I love it. Now, look, I can't choose between the 2, but would you prefer chocolate or ice cream as a treat?
Oh, see, easy, but I don't like ice cream.
Oh,
my kids are like, "You're weird, Mum. Like, you don't." And I'm like, "It's too cold," and they're like, "That's the point. That's the point." Anyway, so it would have to be chocolate.
Okay. So if we go down the chocolate way, would you is it milk chocolate, like white chocolate, dark chocolate? Do you have a preference?
Oh, I'd say it's mint. There's a mint
Oh,
arrow that can sometimes be hard to get hold of, but they're my
yeah,
favorite, my absolute favorite. They're
yeah,
very expensive in Australia, so when I go back to the UK, I tend to stock up on them.
yeah,
But they'd be my favorite.
yeah. Amazing, amazing. And is there a movie that you could literally watch on repeat?
Yes, and I do. I do. It's the strangest. Okay, okay. It's the strangest answer. There's a movie called The Lovely Bones,
Oh,
and
yes.
I read the book and was obsessed
Yeah,
with it. And I bought the movie from Amazon actually not long ago because I kept renting it and renting it and renting it.
yeah,
There is something spectacularly spiritual about
yeah,
that movie that I just stays with me. And it
yeah,
makes me so emotional. I cry every time. I
yeah,
think it's because I was obviously born in the 70s, that kind of small town
yeah,
feel, like the music and it's everything. And it's an awful
yeah,
subject matter, an awful
yes,
subject matter. And sometimes I think when I'm watching it for the 100th time, like, what are you doing?
yeah,
But it just opens my heart
yeah,
time and time and time again. And I think that's why I love it so much. So
yeah, yeah. I just love the feeling of knowing that, regardless whether you're here on earth or not, like we are all still connected and we can feel and we can help. Like I always feel like in that movie, there's always somebody watching over you, and
yeah.
helping you. And I love that. Yeah, so I do know that movie very well. So yeah, I look, I cry very easily anyway, so that's okay. It doesn't take much at all with it. Well, we're going to pop all the details, beautiful, of where people can reach out to you. And again, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us.
You're so welcome. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
And for all of you who have watched this episode, if you have loved it as much as we have, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and also leave any comments below. And remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.